Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Kantner and you're watching CMSD TV, bringing you the latest news out of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. Nearly 1,000 people filled the ballroom in the Hilton Cleveland downtown to see District CEO Eric Gordon deliver his 6th State of the Schools address, hosted by the City Club of Cleveland. During his speech, he encouraged the audience of community members, business leaders, city officials, CMSD educators, students, and families to stay the course with reforms. I spoke to him after the speech. Hear why he discussed the future of Cleveland schools by reflecting on the past.
So let's talk about the Cleveland plan.
My message today was that we've made progress and now we have a critical decision. Are we going to continue or are we going to start over? And my message, obviously, is let's continue the progress.
Progress like expanding high-quality preschool options and 85% of third graders passing the state's reading guarantee, plus a record-high graduation rate, up at least 14%. But there are still challenges that have been around for more than a century, a point the CEO revealed to the crowd through an article about Cleveland schools that he referenced during his speech.
This passage about the Cleveland plan was actually written by H.Q. Sargent, the school director of the Cleveland Public Schools in 1895, when in his annual message, his own State of the Schools address, he described the Cleveland community's efforts to improve their schools, an effort they called the Cleveland Plan.
I always want a frame that really helps us to think about the work thoughtfully. And so the article we found really captured the elements of what we're trying to do. And it was an article that people hadn't seen. And then the reveal, obviously, was they hadn't seen it because it was written in 1895. But it just points out that these are difficult challenges that we have been struggling with as a community for over 100 years. And one of the things that's great about Cleveland is we take on our own challenges. We come up with a plan, we execute it, we stay with it so that we'll get results.
In early childhood, third grade reading.
He illustrated those results with real CMSD students and even a future student joining him on stage.
I wanted people to visually see what their investment is for, from our littlest kindergartner to our largest senior. You know, I'm a data guy, but there's head and heart. And we have to understand that these numbers are those kids. And where those numbers are wrong, that's kids that aren't standing on that stage because of us. And so what are we going to do about it? And so I really wanted it to be a call to action, that this is way bigger than me or the numbers. It is about 39,000 children who are counting on us to solve these problems for them.
Jaden Ferris is one of those children. He struggled at first on his third grade reading assessments, but now he's a confident fourth grader with a plan for success.
Learn, read, and study. I love math.
Enthusiasm and progress, the CEO hopes, inspires the community as they decide on Issue 108 come November 8th. The no tax increase renewal levy will ask voters to renew their commitment to Cleveland's children for another 4 years.
We've invested into 4 years of the lifetime of a child. If you think about kindergarten to senior year, that's only a third of the way. So we have to make the next investment. That's Issue 108 on November 8th. And that investment then needs to continue to leverage the things that are working. Early childhood, reading on grade level at third grade, achieving and reading and math at 8th grade, graduating high school and being ready for college, and putting all the resources around those 5 touch points so that kids move successfully through the entire system. And then I actually had a baby join us on stage too, because it never stops. There's always another kindergartner who needs to go through that journey, and that was a reminder for us that this is a journey, not a destination.
Gordon was asked about his own journey during the Q&A portion, which was dominated by courageous CMSD students at the mic that got the CEO thinking.
Hi, my name is Delon Hendricks. I go to Wade Park. I'm 12 years old and I'm in the 7th grade. And my question is, what are your 3 biggest achievements of your career?
Wow. The 3 biggest achievements of my career. Boy, I don't know. I don't think of it in that kind of terms. I feel like in my own small way, because I'm perfectly clear that I'm one person out of 7,500 helping you and helping your peers. I feel like I've contributed. I feel like it matters that I work here in Cleveland for you and for your teachers. That to me is a big achievement. And it's why I'm in urban education. I actually at one point had left urban education and I came back. And I came back because I wanted to know that when I got home at the end of the night, what I had done that day really mattered. And I feel like that's true, and I feel like that's an accomplishment. And that doesn't probably answer your question exactly, but that's an accomplishment to me. That this room has 1,000 people in it that are here to make sure that we're staying focused on you. There are not many cities in the country where everybody in the community is staying focused on you, and I feel like I've contributed to that in some way. I didn't do it, lots of people did it, but I feel like I helped. That's where I find my accomplishment, is when I feel like at the end of the day, because of efforts that I made, things are a little bit better, and that they're going to keep getting a little bit better if I keep making those efforts. So that's a challenging question. I'm going to have to try to come back with 3 things, but for me, it is that. It's about how I keep helping every day.
The CEO received a standing ovation. He said the questions from students were tremendous, and they had people talking on Twitter too. Hashtag State of CMSD was trending for several hours. The City Club CEO even tweeted saying, anyone else think this might be the best State of CMSD ever? Well, you can be the judge of that. Here are a few more highlights from the speech.
When citizens across Cleveland pulled together to draft the Cleveland Plan 5 years ago, we were in academic emergency, on the verge of financial bankruptcy, and had lost the public's trust. The Cleveland Plan provided a means to secure legislation that could modernize work rules, incentivize charter school relationships, and completely reinvent a school system governed by laws and workplace rules designed for another era. Skeptics understandably asked, why should we believe that this plan is different than the reforms of the past? It was a fair question. The citizens of Cleveland had seen almost as many reform plans as they had seen superintendents and CEOs over those years. In fact, CMSD had 14 superintendents or CEOs in just 35 years. So why should a weary Cleveland public believe that this CEO and this reform plan would be any different? I gave 3 reasons when we went to voters in 2012, and those reasons are every bit as true today. First, we had the benefit of knowing so much more about what was working in school reform than our predecessors had in prior years. Second, legislation passed in Columbus provided us with new work rules and new flexibilities that none of my predecessors had at their disposal when planning their reform efforts. And third, with the passage of Issue 107, we would also have the resources necessary to invest in our reform plan, something, again, that many of my predecessors just didn't have. It's true that the Cleveland Plan has not yet accomplished all that it desired. We've not met our goal of tripling the number of students enrolled in high-performing district and charter schools. We've not yet met our goal of eliminating failing schools in our city. But the Cleveland Plan, at its core, was designed to move student achievement. And over the last 4 years, while we still have far to go, student achievement is moving. CMSD students are increasingly ready to compete with students across the state and nation as we steadily move the system that serves them in the right direction. Since implementing the Cleveland Plan, our community has expanded access to high-quality preschool for 4-year-olds in our city by more than 1,200 seats. Data from Pre4Cle, a public-private partnership created by the Cleveland Plan, shows that 80% of the students accessing these high-quality preschool seats are arriving kindergarten ready when they come to school the following fall, compared to only 50% for those who don't have access to a high-quality preschool. And according to a report released by Case Western Reserve University last fall, we know that kids who have attended CMSD preschools are 29% more likely to pass Ohio's 3rd grade reading assessment than those who have not. In fact, in both of the last 2 years since Ohio implemented the 3rd grade reading guarantee, CMSD has improved 3rd grade reading scores from approximately 31% of students reading at grade level in the fall to more than 85% reading at grade level by the end of the year. Even though evolving state tests in the last 3 years have made it difficult to measure progress in the middle school, CMSD was identified as one of only 3 large urban districts in the nation to show improvement on all 4 subjects of the National Assessment of Educational Progress, otherwise known as NAEP, the nation's report card. In our high schools, we've seen the most visible evidence of progress yet. Our 4-year graduation rate, just 52.2% when we began drafting the Cleveland Plan, has increased to a district record high of 66.1% this year. And when our report card is released tomorrow, we expect to see another district record high as well. Additionally, the independent research group Innovation Ohio recently called the Cleveland Plan an emerging path to improvement. Make no mistake, it says, there has been progress. For the first time in decades, enrollment in CMSD has increased. Graduation rates have also increased. Disciplinary actions have decreased, and proficiency test scores have improved relative to other large urban school districts. Innovation Ohio aptly points out that, quote, while the Cleveland Plan appears to have created some improvement opportunities for students, the progress has been slow and non-uniform. Some schools have seen improvement, others have seen slippage. But all are cultivating new school cultures and environments that could take as much as a generation to result in the kinds of improvements everyone wants. As we enter our 5th year of implementing our own Cleveland Plan, we can take some important lessons from the original. Number 1, take decisive action to create a plan that meets the difficulties you face. Number 2, stay the course, even as you recognize its successes and its failures. And number 3, recognize that even the best plan is only as strong as its people, whose energy, zeal, and honesty must be nurtured and respected. Let's recommit ourselves today so that 100 years from now, when people read about the historic Cleveland Plan of 2012, they will know that real school reform comes from within.
And my question is, what are your 3 biggest achievements of your career?
Wow. The 3 biggest achievements of my career. Boy, I don't know. I don't think of it in that kind of terms. I feel like in my own small way, because I'm perfectly clear that I'm one person out of 7,500 helping you and helping your peers. I feel like I've contributed. I feel like it matters that I work here in Cleveland for you and for your teachers. That to me is a big achievement. And it's why I'm in urban education. I actually at one point had left urban education and I came back. And I came back because I wanted to know that when I got home at the end of the night, what I had done that day really mattered. And I feel like that's true, and I feel like that's an accomplishment. And that doesn't probably answer your question exactly, but that's an accomplishment to me. That this room has 1,000 people in it that are here to make sure that we're staying focused on you. There are not many cities in the country where everybody in the community is staying focused on you. And I feel like I've contributed to that in some way. I didn't do it, lots of people did it, but I feel like I helped. That's where I find my accomplishment, is when I feel like at the end of the day, because of efforts that I made, things are a little bit better. And that they're going to keep getting a little bit better if I keep making those efforts. So that's a challenging question. I'm going to have to try to come back with 3 things, but for me it is that. It's about how I keep helping every day.
If you still want to learn more about how the Cleveland Plan is transforming schools, look no further than the Cleveland Public Library's main branch, featuring the new Changing Minds photo exhibit, sponsored by the George Gunn Foundation. The display by photographer Lisa Kessler documents activities happening in schools to show how the district has changed and progressed over the past several years. We were there for the opening night reception and spoke to the photographer and a few of the students about what the photos mean to them.
This is the opening night exhibit for the George Gunn Foundation's photography exhibit entitled Changing Minds, which looks at the Cleveland Plan, our city's education reform plan. And these photographs depict students from 11 district and charter schools across the city. Our foundation does this every year, and it's what we've become known for in our annual reports. We go out every year on a particular topic. We chose the Cleveland Plan this year because we're 4 years into the Cleveland Plan. It was developed and signed into law in 2012. Our consultant for this work is Nesnadny and Schwartz, and they identified several artists for us to look at. We looked at the photography collection of the woman we ultimately decided upon, Lisa Kessler. She had a lot of great portrait work, a lot of work in communities that are like Cleveland, and we asked her to do this, and she came to Cleveland. She spent 2 weeks here in schools and loved it.
I was able to go into the schools with just an open mind and an open heart and just see what was there. I think sometimes it helps when you're coming from the outside and not carrying those preconceptions. You can see things that sometimes we can't see in the things that we're closest to and in the people we're closest to. So I hope that the pictures do that for people, show them aspects of the schools that they weren't aware of.
Everybody who knows me knows I'm a data person, and I can tell you how much the graduation rate's up and how many early childhood kids we've enrolled. But this gets at the heart. This is what changes minds, is when you see these young faces, our student scholars and their parents and caregivers, and our educators at work, and doing this work all the way across our city. And it's changing minds not only about those of us in the school, but changing minds in our community about what they think Cleveland schools are compared to who we actually are.
Well, in this picture, I expressed like positive emotion and like excitement and joy. Like I'm having a really good time at school.
Well, in this photograph, we were testing, in physics, we were testing the bounce height of various balls. For instance, that would have probably been a rubber ball. I think it did change people's minds because it gives them a look into what do people do in these classes, and what does a student look like?
Cleveland schools can be creative, and they can show a lot of innovation, and they can show like students that can take really good opportunities for their futures, and basically like if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything.
I've been very pleased with the curriculum. It has challenged him. He has been frustrated, but he's overcoming that, and I think that's part of growing up and everything. But this exhibit is just beautiful. The photographer, she just captured a lot of different emotions. Each picture states a separate emotion and a separate thought. So it goes deeper than the education. It goes really into the mindset of these children, and it's helping them to structure themselves for adulthood.
Probably the thing that I remember the most that isn't here are some extraordinary interactions in classrooms or in support sessions where there is no photograph of it, but where a teacher did something extraordinary that will make a difference in the students' lives forever.
This is spectacular. We just need to thank the Gun Foundation for this spectacular exhibit of what's going on here in Cleveland.
It's one thing to read that graduation rates have increased and students are better prepared for college, but here you can see what students and teachers and principals are doing every day. They are magical, magical photographs.
The exhibit is open to the public through October 28th, and smaller exhibits will be on display at several library branches. You can also view the photos online at gunfoundation.org/change. Let's go from pictures to pitchers. Cleveland Indians right-hander Trevor Bauer visited Max Hayes High School recently. Even though he represents Believe Land on the mound, he couldn't believe what was happening in the innovative classrooms there. The former UCLA engineering student took a tour with students who showed him how they use state-of-the-art technology every day, like 3D printers and robotics. Hear what he had to say about his experience. He represents Believe Land on the mound, but Trevor Bauer can't believe what's happening at Max Hayes.
Unbelievable. It's a really cool experience to see what the kids are exposed to and what's available to them, and kind of the emphasis on technology-based career paths is really spectacular.
So spectacular, in fact, Bauer wished he was a student at Max Hayes. He said the high school has more equipment than his engineering program offered at UCLA.
I would have loved to go to a high school like this. It would have been awesome for me.
But he settled for an awesome tour of the school led by student ambassadors who detailed the hands-on 21st century learning opportunities at Max Hayes, like welding, auto repair, and robotics.
I felt really happy just showing them about robotics and telling them about how our school works. And he was pretty much telling us like on things he do, like personally with his drones, and how he really he knew some of our machines and our like manufacturers and stuff. I'm like, it was pretty amazing.
He was very, very down to earth, so I was very pleased with that. But to know that he was able to ask the students a lot of questions, the fact that he plays in Cleveland, the fact that he wanted to do something with Cleveland schools, I mean, you can't really beat that.
Most teams in the American League would agree. It's been tough to beat Trevor Bauer and the Cleveland Indians lately, but under those bright lights, Bauer knows he's setting an example for kids in the community on and off the mound, and it hits home for the pitcher.
A lot of kids grow up, I know, wanting to be athletes, and the odds aren't in their favor, but I don't ever want to tell someone they can't do something, because plenty of people told me I wouldn't be an athlete and stay in school and all the different cliches, right? But I'd like to give the kids the message that they can try to achieve their goals athletically and still have this stuff as a background and still prepare themselves in case athletics doesn't work out to be able to have a career. And if athletics does work out, they can still enjoy doing a lot of this stuff like I do. I'd like to be a positive influence on the kids.
It's safe to say he's already hit that one out of the park.
I'm just proud to be a Laker.
Bauer was proud to wear his new Max Hayes Lakers hat, too. But if you're more of a football fan, the brand new athletic field at JFK will have you doing a touchdown dance. It's one of 5 new turf fields the Cleveland Browns built for Senate League teams and the community. Check out highlights from the dedication ceremony and the inaugural game.
Eagle pride on 3. 1, 2, 3. Eagle pride!
It feel good. It feel brand new. We ain't never had no fans like this.
Fans packed the stands to cheer on their team and cheer for the finished field. District CEO Eric Gordon and the Browns Executive Vice President of Football Operations addressed the crowd during the dedication ceremony.
I ended last school year right here at JFK when we shoveled dirt out of the old field to make way for these new fields. And today we're making it official.
This is one of 3 fields installed this summer, completely donated by your Cleveland Browns for our Cleveland kids.
For us, being a part of Cleveland and being the Cleveland Browns comes with a responsibility. So this investment is a reflection on our commitment to that responsibility. We're proud of the investment that we've made here. Glad to see these young men out here getting great use of a great facility.
The facility, including a new, larger scoreboard donated and installed by the Browns, hasn't just helped the football players. It has the whole school motivated and focused on teamwork.
It made me want to go ahead and put these cleats on and make a fool of myself out there. It's wonderful when you see our kids really getting these opportunities to really experience some things that, not a lot of schools experience. They're playing on a field that's state-of-the-art field, and that makes them feel a little better about what they're doing for our school.
The model's changing at JFK with having 3 schools in one. Something we've really been trying to put together is we're all one school. So the pursuit of excellence is something that we're all kind of breathing all together. So it's important for us to get together like this and to be able to celebrate such a joyous experience like this. Let's just know that though we have different schools within one, we're all united.
United and proud to represent JFK's new home field advantage without forgetting about the past.
I was just really excited about having a new field that we can call our own. Royal Kid over there. That's our old coach, like our coach. And he basically was teaching me before he passed and stuff. So he just meant a lot to all of us. He helped us out in many ways.
It also means a lot to former JFK quarterback Justin Willis Sr. The class of '83 grad is now a teacher at the school, but he'll never forget his time on the old grass field with the beloved Coach Kidd.
He was not only a coach, he was a mentor. I wish he was here to see it. And this is going into my 3rd year here at JFK, so I actually got to sit in the stands with Coach Kidd at some of the games before he passed away. Sometimes if I have extra time, I will come out here on a break and I'll walk around the track, so I just get a chance to reflect and try to keep myself in shape as well.
The field will stay in great shape for years to come, too, thanks to the synthetic turf, which is already paying off. JFK beat John Marshall 36-22, but some might say this was a win for the whole district.
It's nice to see alumni saying, man, I wish I'd have had that when I was here, and kids excited on the field behind me. Thanks to the Cleveland Browns and Jimmy Haslam, that's the reason we have this here today.
Good to see all the young men and the the band, the cheerleaders, everyone on the field having a great time. And we appreciate what the Browns did, and the school district is something very positive for the community as a whole.
I'm just looking forward to a lot of wins.
That's all the time we have. Thanks so much for tuning in. And for more programs like this, you can visit the CMSD News Bureau online at clevelandmetroschools.org/news. We'll see you next time.